Ever felt like your kindness was a free ticket for someone else to walk all over you? Maybe you lent a hand, only to watch it get slapped away or ignored. We've all been there, doing good, hoping it matters, and then watching that goodness backfire. The truth is, being selfless can sometimes open the door to being powerless. Back in the Renaissance, a sharp mind named Machiavelli had some brutally honest takes on this. Today, his name gets tossed around like he's the villain of every story. But the truth is, his ideas run deeper than twisted schemes. Behind the mask of manipulation lies a map for navigating a world that doesn't always reward good intentions, but punishes blind trust. You're on the channel where truth hits different and success is no accident. If something in this made, you pause and think, good, you're exactly where you need to be. Tap that like or subscribe and stick with us, because once you see the game behind the game, you'll never fall for it again. So how do we protect ourselves from those who see our kindness as weakness? Machiavelli had a radical view of human nature, one that might just be the brutal truth we've been avoiding. To grasp his mindset, we need to revisit his infamous book, The Prince, crafted in Florence during the Renaissance. Published in 1532, it's a bold manual for leaders on how to win and keep power. Among its most talked about lines is, "It's better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Harsh, maybe, but dig deeper and it clicks. Fear builds caution and caution builds respect. And respect, he believed, starts with how you're perceived. But this quote is only a door into something bigger, Machiavelli's raw, unfiltered view of what it means to be good and why that's not always enough. In chapter 18 of The Prince, Machiavelli lifts the veil on what he calls the hidden danger behind being too good. He argues that being feared is far safer than being loved, because you can survive without love. But fear keeps people in check. When leaders get too generous, he warns, they stop commanding respect and start inviting abuse. To illustrate, he tells of a nobleman who threw an extravagant feast for everyone, from peasants to aristocrats. He encouraged them to write down any complaints in a bowl, promising to handle each one personally. Sounds noble, right? But things spiraled fast. Instead of honest concerns, the peasants used the chance to whine, attack decisions, and mock the leadership. What began as an act of openness became a free-for-all of disrespect, and the host, despite his good intentions, was left exposed and powerless. At first glance, this story might seem like a simple case of a well-meaning leader losing control. But for Machiavelli, it reveals something much deeper, the true nature of people. The peasants weren't being honest, they used the opportunity to attack, not to fix anything. It wasn't about justice, it was about leverage. The Lord's generosity became a weapon used against him. Instead of earning respect, he invited contempt. They didn't want dialogue, they wanted to bring him down. And why does this matter? Because Machiavelli believed this wasn't the exception, it was the rule. He saw human beings as fundamentally self-interested, always chasing power, wealth, and recognition, even if it meant stepping over others. It might sound like a bitter view of humanity. Maybe it is. But that selfish instinct, according to him, is what drives our behavior, in every arena, from individuals to empires. In the end, it all comes down to one thing: power. Fao might be thinking, isn't this just a bleak take on humanity? And honestly, yeah, it is. But that's the point Machiavelli was making. He didn't sugarcoat it. He believed self-interest is the engine behind every decision we make, from how we treat friends to how countries go to war. Strip away the politeness, the appearances, and what you'll often find is one thing: the hunger for power. Now ask yourself, what does that mean for us today? In a world where everyone's chasing influence, money, and recognition, being too trusting can be dangerous. Machiavelli's message is a reminder, not a threat. If you ignore the darker parts of human behavior, you'll end up blindsided. We live in a time where appearances dominate and ambition rarely sleeps. If we don't understand how people really operate, we risk playing a game we don't even realize we're in. Take the modern philanthropist. Their goal might be to help, to truly make a difference. But their goodwill can attract opportunists like moths to a flame. Without the right strategy, that generosity turns into a weakness. Machiavelli's wisdom suggests a different path. Be generous, but calculated. Be kind, but never exposed. Give, but with eyes wide open. Take the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. For instance, it's one of the biggest charitable forces in the world, and yet it hasn't escaped controversy. Critics have questioned how it handles vaccine patents and intellectual property, suggesting that its actions may sometimes serve its own interests more than the people it claims to help. One example, a patented vaccine delivery method that some say restricts access in poorer countries. Another, digital payment programs in Africa that, while innovative, might unintentionally sideline local economies. These aren't just PR hiccups, they're warnings. Even the most well-meaning missions can be twisted if they're not carefully protected. And that's where Machiavelli's logic kicks in. Goodwill without a shield is an open invitation to be used. Now picture an entrepreneur driven by purpose, someone who builds a business not just for profit, but to do real good. Their innovation might spark change, but it could also spark envy. Imagine they launch a game-changing green technology. Suddenly they're on the radar of industry giants who see an opportunity, not to collaborate, but to conquer. Whether it's copying the idea or undercutting the market, the threat is real. That's why founders need more than vision. They need strategy. Patents, partnerships, policy influence, whatever it takes to defend their edge. Because as Machiavelli might put it, having good intentions is noble, but having a plan is what keeps them alive. When we start to see the shadows that live behind good intentions, we begin to build real protection. This mindset isn't just for politics or business, it touches everything. Friendships, family, love, work. Being generous is powerful, but being blindly generous, that's dangerous. Caution doesn't mean coldness, it means self-respect. And when you mix heart with strategy, that's when you really win. If this made you pause and rethink the way you move through the world, then we did our job. Machiavelli doesn't offer comfort, he offers clarity. His ideas might stir discomfort, but they also shine light on the truth about how power, respect, and relationships really work. And sometimes that's exactly what we need to stop being easy targets. If this hit home, give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Drop a comment below. Where do you draw the line between kindness and self-protection? Have you ever felt used because you were too generous? We want to hear your story. Let's turn this into a real conversation.